Have you ever noticed how two women can wear the same smile, say the same warm words, even greet him at the door the exact same way, and yet one of them makes a man feel like he never wants to leave, while the other makes him quietly start looking for the exit? It's rarely about how she looks. It's almost never about how much money is in the room. And here's the part that surprises most women. It isn't even about what she says. Because sometimes a man learns more about a woman in the first few minutes inside her space than he learns from a month of late-night conversations. Not because he's scanning the room with a checklist in his head, not because he's judging her, but because the place where a woman feels most herself has a way of whispering truths that words are too careful to say out loud. A space carries emotional fingerprints. It holds patterns, habits, and quiet evidence of what season of life someone is really living in, and most women never realize this is happening. They assume his attention is only on her face, her voice, her energy. What they don't realize is that his mind is also softly absorbing everything around her too, not to critique her, but to understand her in the way that only silence can teach. So before we go further, let's clear up something important. This has nothing to do with having a flawless, Swiss home, expensive decor, or a space that looks like it belongs in a magazine spread. A grounded, emotionally mature man isn't hunting for perfection. He's really only asking himself one quiet question underneath it all. Could I imagine building a life inside this feeling? And that answer almost never comes from luxury. It comes from small, honest, unpolished details. So today, we're going deep into those details. Subtle signals most men notice, but almost never say out loud. Some of what you're about to hear might surprise you. Some of it might completely shift the way you look at your own space and even at yourself. Stay with me till the end, because the last part of this changes everything you think you know about being unforgettable. The first thing a man notices when he steps into your home isn't what he sees. It's what he feels. Before he notices the furniture or decor, his mind quietly asks, "Do I feel comfortable here?" Some homes instantly create a sense of peace, while others feel tense, even if they look beautiful. A calm, cared-for space quietly says that you value peace, not perfection, and that's incredibly attractive. Most men aren't looking for luxury, they're looking for comfort. Simple things like soft lighting, fresh air, and a home that feels lived in can leave a lasting impression. Because long before he remembers what you said, he'll remember how your home and your presence made him feel. Then comes something even more revealing, the little things that expose your everyday rhythms. A man isn't secretly grading your home. He's unconsciously trying to understand your rhythm, your routine, the parts of your life no one performs for guests. Because anyone can stage a room for an hour before company arrives. But the tiny unscripted details? Those are almost impossible to fake. The way small things are kept. The way a space feels lived in rather than displayed. None of it needs to be flawless. In fact, too much perfection can feel cold, even unsettling. What actually matters is whether a space feels cared for, even quietly, even imperfectly. Because when a man senses that you take care of your own environment, his mind starts connecting a much bigger dot. If she respects what's hers, how does she treat the people she loves? It's an unconscious psychological thread. Order doesn't mean life is flawless. It means effort exists, even in the middle of chaos. And effort every single time speaks louder than perfection ever could. Every space also tells a story before a single word is spoken. Maybe it's a shelf of well-loved books, a favorite chair by the window, photos that still make you smile, a souvenir from somewhere that changed you, a candle you keep lighting because it makes ordinary nights feel a little softer. None of it needs a price tag, but together these small fragments build something priceless, personality. He isn't just looking at objects, he's quietly meeting pieces of who you actually are without asking a single interview-style question. Your space becomes a conversation happening before either of you says a word. And that's powerful, because real connection is rarely built on perfect scripts. It's built on authenticity. The more your world reflects the real you, the easier it becomes for someone to feel like they're finally meeting the woman behind the smile. Then there's something almost nobody talks about: scent and the emotional memory it quietly creates. Long after conversations blur together, people remember how a place made them feel, and smell is deeply tied to that memory. Soft vanilla, clean linen, fresh coffee in the morning air. These aren't just pleasant, they build comfort, and comfort builds emotional safety. When a man feels safe around you, his guard naturally lowers. He talks more freely. He lingers longer without quite knowing why. It isn't about expensive fragrance. It's about an environment that quietly tells his nervous system, you're allowed to relax here. And often people don't fall for the flawless, curated moments. They fall for the way someone made an ordinary evening feel unforgettable. There's also a quieter, deeper question a man eventually asks himself. Does this match the woman I thought I was getting to know? Because eventually, first impressions fade, and what remains is consistency. If you present as calm, warm, and grounded, but your world feels chaotic or neglected, it creates quiet confusion. Not because you're flawed, but because the picture doesn't align. But when your space mirrors the same warmth people feel from you directly, something shifts in him. He stops silently wondering who the real you is. Everything simply feels congruent. And congruence, real alignment between who you say you are and how you live, is one of the rarest and most attractive qualities a person can carry. In the end, the little things always matter more than luxury. A cozy blanket on the couch, soft music in the background, a healthy plant by the window. These aren't just decorations, they're quiet signs that your home is filled with a real life, not just appearances. They tell him this is a place where someone laughs, heals, dreams, and finds peace. And that's what truly stays with him. Because a man isn't looking for a perfect house. He's looking for a place where he can finally breathe. He won't remember the price of your furniture or the color of your walls. He'll remember how welcomed he felt, how comfortable it was to be himself around you, and how your presence made an ordinary moment feel special. So if you've ever worried that you needed to impress someone with perfection, let that fear go. The woman a good man remembers isn't the one with the most beautiful home. It's the one who made him feel safe, accepted, and at peace. And if you've ever wondered what happens after a man reaches that point, when he quietly realizes he doesn't want to lose you, that's exactly what we'll explore in the next video, because the signs are subtle, powerful, and most women never see them until it's too late.